back for another episode of Lakers Weekend, Lakerholics Spotlight. It's Gerald Glassford. Thanks so much again for joining me right here on the Lakers Fast Break. In for Jamie Sweet, who's doing some Jamie Sweet things. Great to have you here. Looking forward to a great show today. Everything is on the line, guys. The most important game of the season is later today. The backs are up against the proverbial wall, whatever vernacular you want to use. The Lakers season is on the line later tonight against the Oklahoma City Thunder because if it goes up 3-0, it's a done deal. And no team has ever come back from a 3-0 deficit in the NBA playoffs. And I'm not assuming after what I've seen that the Lakers are going to be either able to or allowed to the refs they will get back into this series if that happens. So tonight is absolutely imperative for the rest of this series. And here today to go ahead and discuss our three great Lakerholics. Stop by Lakerholics.com for your informational and Laker needs. But first off, I'll start with Laker Tom. Laker Tom, great to have you here. Your thoughts? Let's go with your thoughts so far. I'm going to hit you guys up as far as your thoughts so far before we get into what happens to happen later tonight. Your thoughts so far. I know a lot of the focus by the Lakers fans are on the terrible officiating, the flops, the many flops, the truly many flops by the Oklahoma City Thunder. But I've told people, okay, I get that. I understand that. But when I put it to the side and I look at these two teams, there is a talent gap. And I know, Tom, you posted on your Twitter that you're still looking for a game 3 victory for this team. But I am looking at a talent gap that's wide and that's not going to get done. And that's not going to close up before the end of the series.
Well, the problem is that to start with, the Oklahoma City Thunder are really a terrific basketball team. They're going to create a dynasty here. I mean, it's going to take miraculous efforts by 5 or 6 hugely underdog teams that are even better than the Lakers are to keep them from having a dynasty. So first, you got to give them their flowers. I mean, not only that, but they probably have the best war chest of draft picks and draft capital than anybody else does. And they keep doing things like going out and adding McCain. And, it's the latest rumor is that they're probably going to add Giannis and they can make an offer that nobody else could make.
And still have plenty left over.
Yeah, they might not even do that. They'd probably only do that if the Spurs beat them, So then when you're wherever you are, 3rd through 30th, you're looking up at 2 teams that have players that are going to dominate. And the only way you can beat them is basically to be lucky. Be lucky and fabulous, And the Lakers could, the Lakers game 3 tomorrow is the best chance opportunity, in my opinion, for the Lakers to steal a game in this series. They're at home. Their fans are going to be revved up. And there's a good reason to think that the Lakers, despite losing both games by 18 points, they've really done a couple of things that nobody else has been able to do against Oklahoma City. One, they put a ceiling on SGA's scoring at 20 points, and they've caused 5 turnovers a game. They've taken him out of the game. He's not the factor. That's not the reason they're winning. Secondly, the starters on the Lakers have outscored the starters on the Thunder in both games. And we're getting better. We won the first half of the game 2. We hadn't won a quarter until we really got into that situation. And then thirdly, one of the things that the Thunders always do, just like the Rockets did, is they always have a big edge in turnovers and offensive rebounding because of the athleticism of the team. Those translates in the way you measure that is by how many field goal attempts you get. The Lakers are averaging 81.5 field goal attempts per game in this series. OKC is averaging 83, 1.5 more attempts per game. That's it. So the Lakers have done some things that give you some promise that if we are going to steal a game, game three is the game that we're going to steal. And, the Lakers, to a man, believe that they can. And I think that there were moments in, basically what we've got the Thunder in a situation where they won the first two games because their bench came through. And in each game, they had a hot shooting guy come in and hit 4 or 5 threes who wasn't even a starter. And obviously when you talk the talent gap, they're really, we're like a 6-man team playing two 6-man teams. But the thing is that they're going to go on the road, and all of those guys that are comfortable at home with the hometown fans, the hometown rims, and the hometown officiating may get a surprise. We obviously didn't lose any of those games because of the officiating, but what makes it so frustrating is that, man, they're the team that doesn't need to do that, and the flopping has gotten ridiculous. It'll be interesting to see if. Generally, I would get that we're going to get a good whistle today. And that's worth put the hassle that everybody did, and it's funny that it's almost everybody in the world except for Oklahoma City fans are supporting the whole Lakers, supporting everybody who's against the way that OKC is unethically playing basketball. But at any rate, we'll have to have a fabulous performance, and they'll have to have an off shooting night, and that can happen. That's the NBA. Everybody has to remember that OKC tries to make you forget that they can be beaten, but there are 100 games in every year in the NBA when a team that basically has no choice on paper comes out there and shoots lights out and burns out the other team. And the Lakers need to do that to get the one game. If they get one game, that's a big win. It's better than getting no games. I think the big win for this whole series for the Lakers is the opportunity to have a measuring stick in the playoffs against the champions, because they're going to they'll know for sure, and they'll have good information and data to make decisions this summer on where to go roster-wise. Because they know that wherever they're going, they got to go through the Thunder.
Once again, it is Lakerholics Spotlight. It is, of course, Laker Tom, part of Lakerholics.com. We've got two other great Lakerholics here I'm going to introduce to you next. I did want to mention, though, for Laker Tom, he's talking about rebounding and turnovers. The rebounding advantage was none in game two. It was actually a wash between both teams. They were virtually the same on rebounding. The turnover differential was a big thing, and the points on that, there was a 12-point differential between the Lakers and Oklahoma City, and that's a minus 12 that the Lakers had to deal with right there. So we had talked about on the show that last week in Houston, when they were in Houston in games 3 and 4, they committed 44 turnovers. And if they did anything close to that against OKC, that's a recipe for a loss. And they committed 20 turnovers in game 2, leading to 26 points. And that's a recipe for a loss. Despite all the officiating, despite the talent gap, everything that you're having there, you play sloppy against OKC and they will burn you every time. But also here today, good man indeed. He is, of course, the guy who is absolutely living the Hawaiian life. A good man indeed. Please go ahead and check out what he's doing today to always be the buffer between Laker Tom and Jamie Sweet. It is Michael Heinrich. Michael, aloha, my friend. Great to have you here. Your thoughts on what's going on with this series? Again, the refereeing has not been very good, and just being honest, and when you looked up objectively, but it's not an entire excuse. All the anger that JJ, Austin, LeBron have made, when rightly so, it cannot make up for the fact that there's just a deficit the Lakers have every time they play, and have to figure out ways to try and shorten that deficit up.
Yeah, and they can't focus on the officiating either. I think that gets in their head a little bit.
Just think if Luca was out there right now.
Oh my God, he wouldn't be out there long. He'd be tossed.
Yeah, he would be tossed.
But it the thing about it is that you're talking about the turnovers. All turnovers are not created equal, and the turnovers that are killing me personally are just the stupid turnovers that we're making. Trying to hit, Aiton with three guys around him, passes inside, lazy passes, stupid passes. I bet you they got at least 10 of those points on passes that should never even been made. It's driving me nuts. And the same thing with the Rockets. Some of the turnovers, you don't see some of these other teams making some of the same turnovers we're making. So that's number one for me. Number two for me is that they're going 10 guys deep. We're going base. Well, we had 7 guys that got reasonable minutes. Jake got 10 because he's been just awful. And Adu he got 4 minutes before crunch time. I mean, before before the cleanup time. But that and you see it in the second half. They're and those 10 guys are getting significant minutes while our bench, they keep saying, well, look at the bench discrepancy. Well, the bench is hardly playing any minutes at all. So that's a huge problem for us. And I really think that JJ just has to play more guys and hope for the best. Really, honestly, he does, because they're just running us into the ground.
Go out there, Bronny. Go and get it done.
Somebody, honestly, they're
but it's a lot of their starters are playing 21 minutes less than our starters.
Yeah,
which is one reason why we outscore them.
Yeah, LeBron is on oxygen in the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
I mean, give it. I didn't screw up anything when he was out there. Give him more than 2 minutes a shift. Give him 5 minutes a shift, just to see what he can do, because he got a couple more
48 minutes to survive against OKC, man.
That and talking about next season, that's the key for what they want to do. They want to get more depth than a shiny bright star, But
wouldn't that say that you don't go after something like Giannis with a $60 million ticket on it?
Exactly. And then my other take on this is, if Luka was available, and if we play the same intensity the way we would have had a chance. We would have had a puncher's chance, because it's not the defense. Even they scored 120-some points last night, but that wasn't because of the defense. I mean, how do you defend wide, breakaway
game on turnovers?
I mean, so that I think that's one of the things that the bright spot for me is that, got it. But that's, again, would we play the same way if we had Luka available? Right now we're moving the ball. We're Rui's rising to the occasion like he always does in the playoffs. He's the all-time leading 3-point percentage shooter in the NBA history in the playoffs. But that's because they're moving the ball. He's getting shots. He got 7 threes the last game. He hardly ever gets 7 threes attempts. So I mean, that's my takeaway, is that it could have been a much. I mean, I don't think we would have won, but I think we could have made a series out of it. Tonight's game, well, I guess we're going to get into tonight's game later on. So that's my take up to this point so far.
Maxi Kleber. Please, Maxi Kleber. No, I'm just kidding. That's JJ. He said so. Okay. If all I'll say is this, and I'm going to quickly get it over to Rob, is that when you go and look in the cupboard and the one cupboard on Oklahoma City side has full of sharp knives and clean utensils, and then you go into the other cupboard and you find like rotten stuff that didn't come out well in the wash, or dirty stuff with like food particles on it, whatnot. That's the problem right there. JJ just does not have a lot to go to that's actually even close to being the level of what you have in the starting lineup, and that's the problem indeed. But also here today, good man indeed. It is, of course, a guy who is a great part of the Lakerholics crew as well. It is, of course, L Rob. L Rob, great to have you back, my friend. I appreciate your patience as always. Your thoughts, my friend, on this series so far, and if we're going to be able to close the gap in Game 3.
Well, it's good to be back, Jamie. So far, you're watching, if in NCAA terms speak, you're watching a dominant 1 seed take on a 9 seed.
8-9 seed, yeah, that 8-9 game.
Pretty much done what they should have did. They've kind of
a 4 seed.
They surpassed their expectations thus far, because I'll tip my hat at the time, because when Luka was hurt and Reeves got hurt, I said the Lakers would not win. I could not see them even winning a playoff game, yet alone a series. So, and he was very optimistic and said they would do it, and they did. So, they're playing with house money. They've maxed out their potential. They're giving everything they had. In the game 2, they really showed some fight. That was encouraging. As bad as Reeves was in game 1, he bounced back, was very competitive in game 2. And as a fan, that's all you want to do. You just want to see the guys compete. You're playing a team that's far superior. They got guys on the bench that are much better than, that probably would, could field some starters on a lot of teams. You got guys like Isaiah Joe that's not even playing hardly. That if he was on the Lakers, he'd probably be logging 25 minutes.
Anthony Wiggins is playing no minutes.
Wiggins, no minutes. So, it's just, it is what it is at that point. Can the Lakers get a game? Absolutely. Oklahoma lost 20-something games. So, obviously, did they lose 20? I don't know how many they lost in the regular season. Close to it, if not.
16.
But 16. It was 16.
6 and 16 or something like that.
66 and 16. That's impressive.
Yeah, they lost 18 games.
18, okay. 18, 64 and 18. So obviously they can
18 in both games.
They lost 18 times. What the Lakers would have to do, Ayton has to play. I know he's getting some rebounds, but we need him to hold on to the ball. We need him to hit those little pocket jumpers. We need him to, have a 20-10 game. And the other guys,
get rid of those 2 pencil-thin centers that are giving him trouble.
Yeah,
shut them down.
Yeah.
Hartenstein's not pencil thin. Sorry,
Hartenstein's tough.
Compared to Ayton should physically overpower.
But the length of Chet is giving him problems. So he can figure that out at home though. And everybody else just keep doing what you're doing. Rudy's been fantastic. LeBron's been over and above what we expected. Much better than he was even last year in the playoffs. So hats off to him. Smart's got to shoot a little bit better, but the other things he do is very valuable. So just other guys just have to contribute. Guys like LaRavia, you can't be a big negative in the game. At least, even if you're not a positive, just be neutral. Not when
we're shorthanded, man.
Just be neutral.
Depth is an issue, and our weak depth chokes.
Yeah. Hayes has been
falling apart in the playoffs.
Yeah, Hayes have been good, so keep doing what he's doing. Let's see who else. Luke shot it good. Luke shot it good. He bounced back a little bit, so get him a good shooting game again, and yeah, we could conceivably beat them. If I was to give the odds of that happening, probably 25% chance of winning, 30% chance of winning. So we'll take that.
A lot better than our chance of winning the series, that's for sure.
We got a shot. Game like Tom said.
I'll take a win tonight over the series.
Yeah,
I'll
game
rest of the
three
series.
is
Give
it
us
though.
the
Once you get down 3-0, it's hard mentally
Yeah.
to even
Just give us tonight so we don't even have to watch a movie during the fourth game.
yeah. So that's where I'm at with it. Oklahoma's I enjoy watching them play. I don't like, some of the things, some of the flopping, and you see Chet looking like he's been elbowed in his head and nobody touches him. The NBA, we've been talking about this for 20 years, 30 years, I don't know, so long.
Yellow card, red card.
Supposedly they were supposed to penalize guys for doing it. They, hopefully they'll take a hard look at it and come up with something for it.
I think the way that soccer does it is probably something the NBA should consider.
Yeah.
I'd love to see it. Would you see I'm not a soccer fan. Does that work? Would we play 5 against 4 if they got a red card?
Yeah. Well, I know in hockey they put them in the penalty box.
I think that penalty box would be great.
Too. So
5 against 4. If you flop a second time in a game, it's a red card and you go to the bench.
The thing that bothers me more than the
1 minute or something like that.
The thing that bothers me more than the flopping is that SGA extends his arm every time I mean, not just a little like most players. He extends it and he never gets called.
Well, that's the thing that's irritating about it. They beat the hell out of you, and then they got this guy who's like prima donna that you can't touch.
Yeah, he gets all the calls and he never gets called himself. That's the thing that bothers me.
That's the beauty of having a superstar. We've seen it on the other end when we
have a superstar LeBron, and he gets the shit beat out of him every game.
Probably the most foul guy other than Shaq in the world. When you take the number of opportunities to beat on the poor guy,
he gets hit on his head every layup.
And I know that, and JJ did point that out, but L. Rob, you had something you wanted to add?
No, I was just going to say, fans. We talk about that, but fans have cried about the Lakers superstars getting calls for as long as we've been watching basketball. So we know that's part of the deal. I get that.
Well, we get the most free throws, so it's hard for us to argue. That's the possibility.
Yeah,
it doesn't happen against.
I get Shea getting some whistles. I'm okay with that. It's just all of the that goes with it that I really don't like as much. So
we didn't lose because of the refs, but I'm telling you, there are probably a half of these games a year where the momentum or the impact on just the momentum and the flow of the game is by the referees will determine the winner of the game. I mean, it's happening more often than you think it's happening.
Yeah.
And it's like it's an improper thing to say that the refs were part of why we lost. But the truth is the refs very often are part of why you lost.
Well, OKC is very handsy. They do a lot of grabbing and a lot of holding. They get away with a lot of bumping, and that's their style of basketball. And the refs.
Have you ever played against a team like that? I mean, I did in high school. It was like torture.
I've been the one that's doing the holding and grabbing. I can appreciate it.
Yeah, I tend to be that kind of guy. I used to be that guy on the playground too.
And King Cora says the issue is Dort and Caruso get to play so physical. Well, it wouldn't have been a problem if we kept Caruso, but that's a Rob issue as well.
I'd love it if they make Dort a free agent.
We will leave the aftermath of what happens with this season to another episode, whether it's next weekend or whatever. Because we could be here all day on saying, if we kept this, or if Rob did this, or if Rob did that, because that's a story in and of itself. But Laker Tom,
Rob.
Yes. My feelings on Rob Pelinka have been very made clear on this show many times.
We're watering him down. At least we're watering him down.
Well, let's just hope so. I'd like to water him down. I'd like to water him like a water ride, just right on out. But Laker Tom, I'll ask you this. Hotspot Casino brought up something interesting because there's still a lot of LeBron. I don't want to say haters, just to say that they're not on his Christmas card list and vice versa. And I'll just leave it at that. And again, whatever your thoughts on LeBron, should you stay, should you go? I want to leave that to the side again. That's just like, that's the Rob discussions. Where do you want to keep LeBron? What do you want to keep Austin? What do you sign him to? And all that's for another day. I just want to say right now with LeBron, people that are still going out of their way.
It's gonna be a pretty good day, man.
Yeah, I know.
That's all of those
that's
things.
That's a summer filled of content. I'll just leave it with that. But
that's like
when it comes to
movie.
LeBron, when it comes to LeBron, Tom, I want to ask this because without Luka, who's the leading scorer in the league, et cetera, without Austin for a good part of these playoffs so far, I think LeBron, no matter what he does, he has minimized the noise, which I've hated so much, and I've said on this show during this period of time. He has focused in on trying to help this team win and doing things that help this team win. LeBron, in the past 4 games, has averaged about 25 points a game. I don't know what this man can do right now because there's just nothing this man can do that's going to fend off those other people, that like, who was it? A hotspot casino and whatnot. He's just going to hate to hate. It's just that simple. But with LeBron at age 41, doing still these things, playing still at this level, it's something, whether you appreciate it or you don't appreciate it, the facts are there. If he was a 25-year-old forward playing this well, you wouldn't have much of an issue with the way he's playing right now, Laker Tom.
Well, I think it's one of the things that everybody's forgetting because the Lakers are getting thrashed by the Oklahoma City Thunder, aside from the fact that the Thunder are so
but
great.
It is LeBron's fault, by the way. I just want to let you know. Yeah,
well, one of the things that they don't realize is that has crystallized as a result of what LeBron has been able to do by being the necessary chameleon to whatever kind of leadership or whatever kind of role they needed him to make. And he's
Hotspot's asking
he's adjusted so well that the team actually won a playoff series that L. Rob thought they weren't even going to win a game. I mean, it's pretty effing fantastic. I think that what's come out from this series that people don't realize now is how goddamn good JJ Redick is, how goddamn good still LeBron James is, and the simple fact that he's going to stay as long as he can play with Bronny, as long as he can play with Bronny, as long as he can play with Bronny. Everybody who has a son will understand how damn important that is. And that is why he's not going to retire. And that's why he's not going to go to another team.
Whether he retires or not is absolutely up to him. But when somebody says, oh, it's time for him to retire, the guy's averaging 25 points in the second round of the NBA playoffs. Whether you're 41 or you're 21, how many players do that? I'm not sitting here defending him.
He also let Austin Reeves.
I'm just telling you the facts.
Too.
I'm just telling you what the facts say. And so somebody comes on here and in the chat and says these blatantly stupid things. It's just, they come off like if you hate LeBron, you hate LeBron. We'll leave it at that. But don't say it's time for him to retire when the guy's averaging 25 in this series and in the past 4 games, 25 as a whole. Michael, your thoughts on it? Again, the subject, where do you want to keep him on the Lakers, is a different conversation altogether. But don't say he's going to retire. It's not like he's averaging 8 on 30% shooting and 7 turnovers a game, and he's looking like a 41-year-old. The fact is, he's leading the Lakers in scoring in the playoffs. How do you say to someone, oh, it's time to retire because of that?
You don't. I mean, he's been one of the best players on the court for the entire playoff run so far. One of the best players in the playoffs. Not just on the Lakers, but in the playoffs. He's been one of the best players in the playoffs. The thing that always gets me, is the whole GOAT conversation. Yeah, was Michael Jordan better in his prime than LeBron was in his prime? Well, maybe, but my goodness, doesn't longevity count in that equation? I mean, the guy keeps playing at a high level. He's at 41, still playing at a high level. The only guy that's even come close to playing at that kind of level at that age is Kareem. And his last year or two was, he was on the downslide, and you could see the age. But LeBron, I mean, he does get gassed in the fourth quarters, and that's not LeBron's fault.
And I get the contract as far as the money part of it. And he's saying Hotspot saying he's holding the Lakers back. I get that part of it. But don't tell me right now with Luka out of not playing a single game and Austin only playing a handful of games. Don't tell me, Michael, this guy Hotspot. Don't tell me that he's holding the Lakers back right now. Now the choice to get $50 million. And all that stuff, that's another issue. I will give him that on that. But don't tell me he's holding the Lakers back right now, because he's doing things on the court right now that are trying to keep the Lakers in the game, Michael.
Yeah. You can't separate out you can't separate out the salary or the fact that this is Luka's team. But LeBron has been such a team-oriented person when it came to that. He's really, other than things like allowing Luka to be introduced last, he's really bent over backwards, because Luka was honestly his favorite player at that point in time of the young group. And LeBron was Luka's favorite player. So it's a fascinating thing that the Lakers will not have him back at full contract value.
Well, that's another.
Yeah, you can't. You keep trying to separate that out, but you can't separate that out.
Well, I think the point. I think the point
here, separate those things out, because at 20 million, then it's a total different decision than at 55 million.
I think the whole point right now isn't so much did his salary
back right now. There's no doubt, because
go ahead, Michael. Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, the thing about it is the whole argument has nothing to do with what the salary he got to start the season. I mean, could they upgraded if he didn't make as much? Sure, they could have, but it's what he's doing right now. He is playing like a $50 million player right now, and that's all that counts. That's all that counts. I don't care about what, there's a lot of arguments about should he have gotten that much money, blah, 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 blah. He's playing like a $50 million superstar at this point in the playoffs.
He had a contract that he was promised that much money for signing it, and he earned it. He's absolutely earned it.
Yeah, here in the playoffs, he's earned every penny of it.
Now, next year is another subject, whether or not he's going to board him.
Rob, and I'm sure that you'd want to get rid of LaRavia. That the Phoenix Suns would love to have LaRavia and trade away a guy that's shooting 43% from three. Yeah, that would be absolutely.
Who are they going to give us?
Hotspot says trade LaRavia for Kobe Bree, and I'm just thinking to myself, okay, someone who's cheaper and shoots better. Yeah, that would be really smart for Phoenix to do. Hotspot, man, you're not so hot right now. But let me go ahead with Rob. Rob, your
Hotspot is attracting attention.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So our chat, take care of him.
Approach to the 6'8".
Exactly. Rob, what would be okay? If he does get, I'll tell you what, if Rob does get that without giving up a first-round draft pick, you know what? Then I may start to give Rob credit for getting someone like that. But Rob,
Jake is tradable, that's for sure.
Let's get Rob into this. Rob, I want to hear your thoughts again. I'm putting the money aside. I'm putting all that stuff aside when it comes to the noise and whatnot. Sorry, Tom, because again, I'm just saying from what I see now, he was asked to take on a bigger role after Austin and Luka got hurt.
It's just the podcasters a way of forming the question so that you only have one direction to answer.
Well, let me just get Rob into this, Tom. Your thoughts on LeBron and what he has done since the injury, and how he's tried to help this team and navigate this team through where they've been to now. Yes, is he getting not is he not getting the calls? I understand that. I get that, but he is I can't fault a whole lot on his play because it's been at an age that you're retired. 99% of the NBA players are retired. He is still excelling far more than any player his age has ever done.
Yeah, what he's done this season, just I mean, let's set aside the playoffs. Just for him accepting that role, mid-season ish, where he took, say, hey, I'll take a back seat to Luca and to Reeves and sacrifice this game and fit in to help the team, really have his best run of the whole season. That to me, spoke just a lot about his greatness, his understanding. He's still, got the one of the highest IQs in the game. He's seeing things ahead of his teammates. He's pointing things out. His leadership, the stuff that don't show up in the box scores, is still amazing. So once you start adding that with the actual points and shooting percentage and what he's bringing to the team, yeah, he's earned every penny of his contract. He shut up all of us who it was like, okay, I'll be glad when this part of the Lakers era is over with LeBron. He's done his thing, man. So I'm amazed. It's like seeing a great entertainer. I go to a lot of concerts. I've seen Aretha a few years before she passed, well into her 70s, and seen her put on an amazing performance, and you just awestruck, like, wow, how's this person still performing at a high level? Can't hit the same notes, can't do some of the same things you've done, but still know how to perform. And that's what I like in LeBron too. He's incredible. And I don't know when the next time we'll be able to witness something like, somebody like him. Michael and Tom, these guys have been watching basketball longer than me, but even myself, you have to appreciate it. You know that you're watching something incredible. So other people, they don't get it. They don't know. They don't know what they don't know. So I don't even really how to, try to convince them or have those conversations when they really just don't know. But yeah, we're witnessing something special. So, when I watch LeBron, when I watch the Lakers now, I'm watching LeBron and appreciating that.
Hotspot, I think you're just accentuating the fact that Rob Pelinka has missed out on a lot of players that the Lakers could get. But that's, again, Rob Pelinka, the hot seat, whatnot. It's being filled with other people that are around him that might make the decisions for him. But those are things that obviously have to be discussed as far as what's going to go on for this summer and going forward to see if we can build a more competitive team. But Laker Tom, heading into tonight, it is game 3. It's the most important game of the year. If they lose this game, the series is done. That's not insult anyone's intelligence. This series is done if they lose tonight. So with that, what kind of mindset does JJ have to instill with these guys, and what do they need to focus on to get things right and to get things a little bit more competitive to get out of this day with a 2-1 series deficit?
Well, before I say anything else, I want to thank L. Rob, because I thought that was one of the most eloquent defenses of LeBron that I've ever heard, and definitely ought to be made into a Lakers fast break clip. That was really good, Lee. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
What JJ is telling the Lakers and what the Lakers are thinking right now is that we can beat this team. They're thinking actually that with Luca, they're a better team than OKC is. Now, they do have depth problems, and it will be interesting. I think, Gerald brought up a good point that it'll be interesting to see whether the efforts that we've seen so far of JJ trying to expand the rotation get a little more serious because of the game. I happen to think that he's going to stick with the starters because there is no tomorrow. They have to win tonight. This is their best opportunity. I think that they will still use the same strategy and try to have the starters outscore their starters and have the double teams and the traps hold SGA down and cause a lot of turnovers. I think there will be a lot of effort to not turn the ball over, because that's obviously cost them tremendous amount of points. So I think the Lakers think they can win. And I think they're going to come out and they're going to have a hot shooting night. And I think that their game plan and strategy of making OKC have to rely upon their bench to really score and really break the game open. Well, the bench has done that for 2 games in their own home arena. Let's see them do it at crypto.com tonight. I think the Lakers are going to win, and they'll win by 10 points.
Michael, let me bring it to you.
Series, though.
Michael, yeah, well, let's get one first, then we'll talk about the rest of the series. Michael, your thoughts on Game 3 tonight, what the Lakers need to focus on. They have to be, in my opinion, to cut down the turnovers, and they have to, like you said, role players play better at home. That needs to be a fact. And if the Lakers, and JJ does need to go ahead and utilize more of the bench, he hopefully will get a more satisfactory play from the guys that are coming off the bench in order to do so.
Yeah, I mean, turnovers are key. I mean, that's been our biggest problem throughout the playoffs. I mean, that the Houston series might have been a 4-game sweep without all the turnovers. Maybe they would have gotten the 1 game, but the other game they definitely would have lost. So I like the fact that we competed on the boards. That has to continue. Ayton's playing hard. He's playing well. He had a bad shooting game. He can't have bad shooting games if we're going to win. Do everything else he was doing is great, but he has to make some of those little jump shots that he missed. So he has to be a scorer on this team as well. So he just was missing shots, and not necessarily because of the defense. Some of them, were good looks. So Jake has to have a okay game. It doesn't even have to be good, just a okay game to where he can play more than 10 minutes and not be minus 14 in those 10 minutes. I mean, he just has been, he has not been good throughout the playoffs. Yeah. We got to get he has to be able to at least tread water in the Jake minutes. And I'd like to see him give Adu a little bit more run. I mean, he hasn't really messed up. He may be more athletic than anybody on OKC's team. We need those young legs. We need the athleticism. Give him more than 2 minutes a run. I mean, he didn't screw up in his 4 minutes a run. So do anything you can to get those guys. I mean, our guys were playing 39, 38 minutes, our starters, and their OKC's top minute guy was 31 minutes. Everybody else was under 30. So we have to be able to, get.
Well, that's because they're younger.
Yeah. Well, not just that, is because they have the depth. So we have to.
The older guys ought to get 27 minutes, and the younger guys get 37 minutes. That's how it should work.
Yeah, we should get we need to get a little, like I said, we got to get a little something out of Jake. I do. Maybe, Luke found his shot again, but he's still turning down shots he shouldn't be turning down. That bothers me about Luke. It has to be the perfect setup before he shoots. Right. And he needs to start taking some of those open looks that may not be 100% perfect and start taking.
Be like Rui.
Yeah. Rui is a playoff riser. He has been his entire career.
That is exactly right. Riser.
He has been in his entire career, and they'd be good to find him even more shots. You know, I mean, not just the threes. I mean, the guy led the league in mid-range shooting percentage last year. So, you know, get him some more looks.
He's played better defense too.
Oh, he's been. That's the knock on him that I wish would go away, because he's been a solid defender all year and into last year as well. So, yeah, he's not flashy defender, but you can put him. I mean, they put him on guards.
Yeah. He's earned a new contract, that's for sure. You know.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my key is get the starters a few minutes more below, and let. You know, hopefully Jake can come through and Adu can do a little something and give you guys got just a couple extra minutes, you know, and just continue the defense. The defense is, you know, the way the Lakers have been playing defense. It proves that you don't have to have five guys, all defensive kind of guys to play good defense. You just have to play it as a unit, and they've been doing a good job with that.
You know, one thing I'd like to add just to this whole discussion about,
and then I'll get it to L-Rob. Go ahead, my friend.
Tonight is that somebody brought up a subject that after the game had been decided, the Lakers all of a sudden had a new tactic, which was attacking SGA defensively, trying to get fouls on him and wear him down. And that person sort of had that post I thought was excellent, that could be part of the Lakers strategy to put more pressure on SGA and force other people on the team to beat him. I mean, we'll held him, you know, he's a 33 point per game scorer who's been held under to basically the 20-point ceiling. So we've changed how they're winning games, and I think that's an important thing, because it's a new ground, which has to be a benefit for us, hopefully.
Let me go ahead and hit it over to L-Rob. L-Rob, again, the season is on the line, in my opinion, tonight with the game coming up here at 5:30 p.m. Pacific on ABC. Your thoughts on what the Lakers need to do to get it done for this evening, my friend?
Get off to a good start. Get the crowd into the game. Feed off of that energy. Like LT said, that JJ has been very good. He's proven himself as a good coach. So he's rebounded from that the fiasco in last year's playoff. Game plan has been very good. The team has executed the game plan very good. It's defensively. So they got to continue with that, make some guys that don't want to score. I think they got to do a little bit better job of finding guys like Mitchell and McCain, guys who are good scorers, but you got to give up something. So, but when you're a heavy underdog, you got to take some chances. So you got to stick with that. You may have to just even throw out a Nick Smith. I mean, Junior, this might be, you know, desperate measures cost desperate times calls for desperate whatever the saying is. This is it for us. So when you're a heavy underdog in a fight, you gotta throw some punches, take some chances, leave yourself open, and maybe land one. So maybe somebody like Nick Smith can come in and hit 5 threes or something, because you can't keep, you know, guys like LaRavia, if they're not performing, you gotta move away from them a little bit. Give him a shift, and if he's not doing anything, go with a guy like, you know, Nick Smith. Who knows? Can't hurt anything. So just keep doing what they're doing. Better play from Aiden. I mean, they weren't that far off last game. If you take that last game, and put it in crypto, the Lakers, you know, it's probably anybody's ball game in the last 5 minutes or so. So I don't know if it can be duplicated, but try it. Reeves keeps doing what he's doing. Rui, LeBron, just get Ayton to play a little bit better, and then find somebody off the bench with a hot hand, and I think we got a puncher's chance.
I'll leave it with this. We'll go ahead and close out after some final thoughts from you guys. Once again, please go ahead and support Laker Tom, Michael Heinrich, L-Rob when they stop by Lakerholics.com. It's a great place to go all year round for all your Lakers informational needs. And of course, Laker Tom has his famous blog post. When he started, he was the leading Laker blogger on the planet by sheer volume. And I actually looked that up by metrics as far as I'm concerned. Back in the day when you first started with us here at the Lakers Fast Break, still you haven't slowed down much at all, my friend, because your blogs are still going on there. But before we head on out, my friend, I want to hear your thoughts on what you are working on or your current article that you have up, and then also as well, what do you think about this season for a whole? What do you think about as far as, I know that some people have been trying to take how should I say, moral victories from what the Lakers are doing. Like, for instance, what L Rob said earlier about house money. I've actually used that statement earlier this week as well. The Lakers are playing with house money. And so I'm still not big into moral victories because the 17 titles tell me otherwise. But I have to see, I have to see what's there. And the fact is that the Lakers shorthanded are playing against the champs. And while it may not be successful, it's still right where they were projected to be. It's not like they were going to be upsetting this team in the first place. But your thoughts, my friend, on what you're working on and the thoughts, what you could take away from this season if it should end here before our next conversation.
Well, actually, I've always liked the idea that the basketball gods somehow have blessed the Lakers this season. And if you take that approach, you have to understand that
not in Oklahoma City, they haven't really blessed.
You have to understand that coming back from an 0-3 position to win actually win the championship, by coming back from 0-3 on the previous champion would be record setting. If the basketball gods really want to make a statement, they'll probably do that. I happen to think that we're going to win tonight and lose in 5 games, but this is more than moral victories, because I think we found that we have the coach of the future in JJ Redick, and I think we've also resolved this whole issue: is does LeBron want to return to LA, and do the Lakers want LeBron to return? I think that's been resolved. I think also this is a tough one. I think Austin Reeves is in a tough situation. I could very well see Austin Reeves being traded, and it really is an unfair. It's as unfair to a player as I've ever seen. The way that this season eroded, it's just terrible. I also think that the way the team has performed is more than a moral victory too, because I think they showed that if Luka hadn't been injured, I think this team could have taken on OKC, playing the way that they have. Obviously there's some issues to resolve between LeBron and Luka and sharing the ball, but there was a time when this team in March was with Luka was still posting 30 assists a game, and he was scoring 33 points a game. There's a formula in the off season, because we're in a good position, that this is going to be, it may not have been done anything to win 53 games, beat the Rockets, and let's say win a game, hopefully, against the Thunder. That's what I'd like to be our resume for the year. And frankly, that's a resume that I'd be extremely proud of. And I think it's one that we are capable of doing.
And you've got an article currently up that's on Lakerholics.com.
Medium.com.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough indeed. Michael, your thoughts on the Lakers when it comes to what this season's been all about? Let's just say before our next conversation, it will not meet. It'll meet an untimely end, per se. Your thoughts on the Lakers season and what to look forward to as far as future conversations for this team.
Well, first of all, I think this season's been a total success. I mean, you look at the preseason prognosticators, we're all saying the best you ever saw was maybe the 6th seed. Most of them had us as a play-in team. And we had a ton of injuries. I mean, we ended up with the 4th. It's hard to imagine ending up with the 4th seed with the amount of injuries that this team had to overcome. Yeah, and it wasn't just the big 3 that got hurt a lot. I mean, Rui missed time, Marcus missed some time. I mean, important players missed significant amount of time. We were always trying. I mean, we rarely had until March. And then even Marcus was out in a lot of March. We rarely had many games as a total unit. So what this season was a total success with taking all that under consideration. I agree with Tom. I don't know if we would have beaten OKC, but I think we could have taken them to 6 games, at least with Luka. So what that also tells me is we're not as far away as everybody thought we were at the beginning of the year. So, I mean, we could, basically run this group back with a couple of additions and not even have to be major, huge additions, just maybe depth additions, and be healthy. That's the biggest takeaway for me is I think this team is much better than they were supposed to be. And I think we're a little bit closer to being a real contender than anybody thought we were. It's going to take, like I said, it's going to take some well-placed additions off the off season, but we're not calling for it. We don't need a total overhaul either. So that's my takeaway. As far as this game, I think we could steal a game. I wouldn't be surprised if we did, but I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't. But, I just like the way they've been playing for each other, been playing as a unit defensively. That was something that, everybody talks about the offense being disrupted by all of the injuries, but defense gets disrupted as well because a good defensive team has to learn to play together as well as a good offensive team. I mean, actually, it might be harder, easier offensively because, we got some talented one-on-one players that can just do it, on their own. But defensively, you got to play as a unit. And I think that's one of the reasons why our defensive rating was so low for so much of the season was we never were healthy. So, I'm completely satisfied with where we are. When Luka and Austin both went down, I mean, I was sitting there going, God, do I really want to subject myself to this Houston series, But they came through, and I'm proud of the team. I mean, they've done a really excellent job under the circumstances.
Rob, I'll leave the final words for you, my friend. As I look at our original season prognostications, because you talked to when you said that as far as the prognosticators, I looked at our own. Laker Tom had it third. Michael, I think I've not scrolled down to yours yet. I'm still trying to look for yours. What you had the Lakers. I think what you had them fourth, I think, or fifth.
I might have had fourth.
Okay, I had fifth, so they exceeded my expectations slightly. Rob, your thoughts again. What this season is all about and what may be coming in the coming days for Lakers fans. Again, I don't think I have to slightly disagree with Michael. I think there is a huge talent gap between OKC and the Lakers, and with the assets that they have, though both San Antonio and them, they could be at the top of the food chain for quite some time. It will take a concerted effort by a high quality GM to go ahead and structure a team that can compete with those teams, whether it's LA or anybody else in the coming years. I'm not going to say it's impossible, but the task is tall. Your thoughts, my friend, on this season and what's up ahead before we head on out?
We had a couple big pressing things coming into the season. First was Luka. How committed is Luka to being a great basketball player? There was all these concerns about his health, right? About his fitness and his level of commitment to being to his body and putting himself in the best shape to be a great player. And he answered that question. So that was huge to me, just seeing him come into the season in tip-top shape and ready to go, giving himself at least a chance to, to hold up. It didn't work out. He got injured, but still, I think that was big. And then the way the last year's playoff ended with JJ is like, I was, questioned how he handled stressful situations because he just kind of, to me, melted down in that playoffs and didn't play his bench at all. And so I was, concerned with how he would handle pressure situations moving to this season. It was a couple times during the season where it looks like things could have went south. He held the team together, put together a good plan in the playoffs. So I think he's on the upward trajectory. I don't think we have to worry about him as much right now. Of course, still a lot to be proven. So to me, having those two things anchored in helped a lot. Aiden pretty much did what we kind of expected him to do. Some games he was very good, other games he was disinterested. That's his history. He didn't change anything with that. LeBron exceeded expectations to me. He, played at a very high level for another year. That was great. Reeves is still a riser. There's concerns about him in the playoffs, being exposed defensively. That hasn't changed. So I thought our bench, we expected more, didn't get it. Hayes was probably exceeded expectations, but we were expecting a little bit more from Vando. Arabia didn't do a whole lot. So that part, Connect, we lost him totally. So all in all, I would say it's still this positive. We learned some positive things for long term. It's just a matter of building out the roster now around Luka and yeah. So I feel good about how the season played out overall. Just there's a lot of work to do though, and if I could pivot, I'm really looking forward to seeing San Antonio and OKC play. I'm ready to see the teams that will have to maximize their effort to actually win. I don't, OKC and the Lakers. I don't want to see OKC fooling around with the Lakers, and San Antonio really doesn't have to play max to beat Minnesota. And in the East, I want to see the Pistons and probably the Knicks. Knicks are playing great. I want to see high level basketball. I'm ready to see some serious, and I want to see OKC get pushed. San Antonio beat them up pretty good in the regular season. And so, yeah, that's what I'm looking for the rest of the season.
Well, there you have it. The thoughts from the Lakerholics crew. If you want to go ahead and support the Lakerholics, stop by here every time that they have their Lakerholic Spotlight. I appreciate L. Rob, Michael Heinrich, and Laker Tom for their time and spending it today. And again, we'll be here later on this evening for the post game. Joe Soro, myself, maybe John Costa, Legend. We'll go ahead and bring you our thoughts. And then, of course, every day in the morning, I go ahead and they post from the Fan Arc Network. They post a show that I do, Lakers Latest, on one of their channels, Lakers Latest, every morning, right around 8 a.m. as well. So hopefully you'll catch that indeed. I know Craig does. Thank you for the kind words. Thank you to even a Hotspot Casino also as well. Daruku, King Cora, Adam, truly appreciate everyone being a part of what we're doing today as far as the Lakers fast break is concerned. But later today, it is game 3, 5:30 p.m. Pacific, ABC. Go ahead and make sure you catch it. And our thoughts right after the game on the Lakers fast break post game indeed. So for Laker Tom, L. Rob, and Michael Heinrich, I want to truly thank you for stopping by this weekend. Hopefully the Lakers can get it done tonight. And hopefully we will be back next week still talking playoffs and not talking after playoffs right here on the Lakers Fast Break podcast. Aloha.
Aloha.
Aloha.